One of the hardest obstacles to overcome when you have a medical condition is the difficulty of family and friends understanding your health. It is very hard for someone who does not struggle with your medical ailments to comprehend the challenges you face. This can prove very trying. If family and friends are discouraging, blaming you for your symptoms, or making thoughtless remarks, it can make you feel depressed and hopeless. This can lead to negative emotions and a breakdown in communication. Hurt feelings and bitter emotions may lead to a fierce firestorm, which may completely destroy the relationship. In the end, the person with the medical condition who so desperately needs emotional and physical support may be left abandoned. Join me this week as I discuss ways to cope with family and friends who do not understand your medical needs. And stay tuned to the end when I share my own experiences of struggling with chronic illness and not having family members understand my health. When I first became significantly sick 12 years ago, one thing I assumed was that everyone knew what I was going through. If I said I had postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, abbreviated as POTS, I thought everyone would know the myriad of symptoms I had. I believed people would instantly understand that my heart races when I stand up. I have severe chest pain. I develop horrible headaches when I'm upright too long. Muscle pain and cramps make it difficult to walk, etc., etc. What I soon discovered is that most of my family and friends had no idea what it was like to have POTS. I then had to think of analogies and use creativity. For POTS, I told people to imagine they are running late for work. They have just 2 minutes to make it out the door and to the bus stop several blocks away. They bolt out of their home and run as fast as they can. They see the bus at the bus stop. They run even harder. Unfortunately, the bus pulls away from the bus stop before they're able to board. Now they stand, gasping for air. Their leg muscles ache in pain. Their chest feels as though it might explode. They are dizzy and feel as though they're going to pass out, etc. Well, this is what it feels like every time I try to stand up. For some people, using analogies or asking the person to imagine a situation will allow them insight into your medical condition. For other people, it does not matter what you say, they cannot imagine what it is like to have your medical challenges. For this latter group of people, you can try giving them links to websites about your health challenges. But please note, some people cannot or will not understand your health, no matter how hard you try to explain it to them. My second tip is to cut negative people out of your life or find ways to mitigate the damage. There are going to be some people who, no matter what you do, are mean spirited and hurtful. If you can, remove them from your life. If you cannot end the relationship, find ways to limit your contact with them. Some people talk to their mother nearly every afternoon. You may see people post selfies with their parents on social media, taking vacations with them, or having them by their side during milestone events. That's great for them, but it may not be for you if your family is not supportive or creates negative emotions. It is not that you completely avoid your family, but you try to maintain a healthy distance. Phone calls might happen just once a week and leave you talking about the weather or sharing that everything is just fine. People might not understand, but the truth is, keeping things at this level prevents discouraging remarks about your health. Some people may be sympathetic to your situation, but they are unable to actively support you. A prime example of this situation would be a friend who is dealing with their own medical struggles or who is a caregiver for someone with complicated health. The friend is not able to give anything else to other people. Remind yourself of this fact when people disappoint you or are unable to be there for you. Most of the time, their lack of availability or concern has more to do with them than it does with you. Try not to take this personally or assume that they do not care about you. When close family and friends can't offer you what you need, it may be helpful to seek out people who can. Many medical conditions have online support groups. Although people in support groups may start off as strangers, fast friendships are often formed because you share common experiences and symptoms. After all, there is nothing more refreshing than talking to someone who gets what you're going through. Sometimes it is easier to share your struggles with a stranger, especially if they've been through the same situations, because there is less concern about being judged or criticized. One of the best ways to find the support you need is to start with yourself. Be your own greatest supporter. Practice being kind and gentle to yourself, and keep your self talk positive. In other words, pay attention to your inner voice and what it is saying. If your self talk is particularly negative, you may be creating more stress and anxiety for yourself. Try to keep these ongoing monologues positive, even if that means repeating positive mantras every day until it becomes a habit. If you find yourself getting trapped in a negative thought cycle, repeating negative things about yourself, or ruminating over and over about things that have gone wrong, look for ways to turn those thoughts around or interrupt the cycle by finding ways to distract yourself. You can also treat yourself well by looking for opportunities of self-care. Make a list of things you enjoy but might consider a luxury, such as taking a hot bath, reading a good book, listening to a podcast, or taking a leisurely walk through the park. Then, find a way to carve out time for these activities. Learning to care for yourself in small ways will help you not only feel better, but will also allow you to better manage your health and emotions. A number of years ago, I was at a family function. A relative I rarely talk to was hosting the event. For this story, I will call the family member Joanne. Joanne believed she knew everything about my medical condition. When talking about what I do in my spare time, Joanne insisted I get a job. I told her I have a difficult time being upright. I spend most of my time lying down in bed. Standing up and sitting upright makes me very fatigued due to my high heart rate. I take frequent naps. Joanne told me there must be some job I can do. Maybe I can do something on the computer. I sighed and said I frequently get headaches. Bright lights are a trigger for me. I have to limit the time I look at a computer screen to avoid getting a full-blown migraine. When my headaches get bad, I lie completely flat in a dark room with a cloth over my eyes. Joanne snapped at me that I was being difficult. You know, there are medicines for migraines. There are medicines for most medical conditions. You need to take medicine. You need to do exactly as your doctor tells you to do. I calmly replied and told Joanne there are many medicines, but there are no medicines for my medical conditions. Furthermore, all medicines have side effects. Side effects to many drugs include organ failure, anaphylaxis, and death. Joanne remarked, I need to take all the medicines my doctor prescribes because otherwise I will not get well. I continued, my body is very sensitive to medication, and many medicines have made me extremely ill. I have nearly died from having anaphylactic reactions. I do not take a drug unless it is absolutely medically necessary, such as taking an antibiotic to fight off an infection. Joanne then told me I just wanted to be sick. If I really wanted to get better, I would follow all my doctor's instructions and then I would get better. I looked at Joanne and silently said to myself, she has no idea what it is like to be chronically ill. She has never had any serious health afflictions. It must be nice to believe that there's a pill for every ill. I wonder if her perception of illness would change if she developed a chronic medical condition. The conversation with Joanne exhausted me. I found a quiet place away from everyone else and allowed the silence of the air to fill my soul. Joanne sought me out and asked why I was sitting by myself. I did not have the energy to explain to her I needed to rest. Talking tires me out. Instead, I informed Joanne I was admiring some artwork she had displayed in the room. Joanne then went on a long monologue, telling me about the piece of art. After the gathering, I left and returned home. I have never seen or spoken to Joanne again. As much as I like Joanne, it is best if I stay away from her. I do not have the energy to endure constantly being badgered about my health. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe down below. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful week. Bye-bye.